All right, all right, all right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. And when this clueless American speaks, you listen.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it's a collab, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make this a weekly thing. I did have initially a name called Whole Lot of Fun, but I think it's going to be called Whole Lot of Chaos. That's far more appropriate for this. But
Yay,
yeah, Lyés, my man, how you doing?
my guy. I'm doing pretty good. Big week of football ahead for all teams in the Premier League, but I'm excited to get into what we just watched the past few days and preview what we're gonna see.
Brilliant, man. Certain teams seems like in the Premier League website are playing twice. Like Spurs apparently playing twice on the same day, which can't be right. But we will get into all of that. First of all, my man, I know we're going to talk about FA Cup, the FA Cup draw, upcoming Premier League fixtures, and whatnot. But I do need to rub it in the fact that you guys lost to City in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Not just lost, I feel like City did a bit of a masterclass on you guys, the way they kind of did that to us. Yeah, you guys were a little bit better than us, but I think at the end of the day, City, I felt like they had your measure throughout the game. They just knew what to do and how to put you guys away. Just from a Man United point of view, man, it must start hurting a lot, the fact that, what you've just mentioned, 4 semi-finals now that you guys have been knocked out since Ole has taken over.
Yeah, not great viewing pleasure, but it's weird. So like every one of these semifinal losses has been different in its own right. So you had the first semifinal loss we lost was in last year's Carabao Cup. It was against City, and it was far less competitive than this one was, if you even want to call this one competitive. The first leg we lost 3-1. It could have been 6. It was just a terrible game. Pre-Bruno, Pogba wasn't back, just horrible. The second one we lost was to Chelsea in the FA Cup. And that was a game where Ollie kind of put out the second team. We were really focusing on making top 4. I think you guys had kind of had that in the bag for a while. So you guys were the much better team on the day, deserved to win. And then the third one was the Europa League semifinal. And that was one that really hurt. It was like a rematch against Sevilla. I thought we were the better team for most of it. And just poor finishing and lazy defending at the end cost us. So each one was kind of different in its own right. And then we come to the one we just got finished watching against City in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
This was a game that I went into telling my audience on YouTube, this is a game United has to win. It's completely United. Like, this is United's game to win. City has already shown that they can win trophies. They've won the Carabao Cup, the last 10 in a row?
A zillion times.
But, this is a game United has to win to kind of show that, the semifinal rut isn't a real thing. We're a team that can still win big games, because United hasn't won a lot of big games this year. Last year, United were terrific in big games, a little less so in the small ones. And this year, it's almost flipped. We haven't beaten many big teams this year. So I thought all the pressure was on United to deliver. And if we're going to talk about the game, they didn't deliver at all. I thought City, like you said, were the much better team. From minute 1 to around minute 70, where United kind of woke up, I thought they scored off 2 set pieces, but it could have been 3 or 4 at certain points. So really, really disappointing the way we did go out. I wanted to see a little more of that front 4 kind of expressing themselves, but it seemed like Ollie kind of went into his pragmatism a bit. Really disappointing.
Nah, I saw your video post-match, man, with your mate, and you guys were down. Like, I think when you've lost 3 semi-finals, obviously the 4th one, you just think that now I think we're gonna finally do it. And you guys have played Man City so many times as well in recent years that you'd think that you have their measure. But nah, man, obviously, another opportunity gone. And Man City, man, you might as well just call that Carabao Cup Man City Cup. Honestly, they just clean up everyone. But I just want to touch on another topic, and this somewhat sort of relate to this as well. Post that match, as you know, Rants, who's a big YouTuber for Man United supporters, he had a whole group out, and they were talking about Ole out, and he's been Ole out for a long time anyway. And certain parts of your fan base did not take that lightly. They've actually come out and said, "Oh, look at this guy! Ole is on top of the table at the moment in the Premier League, and he's doing all right." And obviously, Grant still wants Ole out and I can understand. The reason why I'm bringing this up, Lyés, is that I think fans need to start understanding other opinions. Like, you don't need to agree with it. Like, I've seen you, Lyés, a few times, and you've said it in my channel as well, that there were times that you were all out. Like, that doesn't mean that you're sabotaging the club. Like, it's your opinion. You want the best for your club. And similarly for Chelsea as well, like we are seeing a lot of, like, in our fan bases divide, as we talked about last week, that with the Frank Lampard, going through a bad form. But, a lot of fans coming out and saying that, these people are negative. I think people need to understand the difference between negativity, like pure hatred and negativity, as opposed to criticism and criticizing, the manager on things that needs to go right. So you can back them, right? So your thoughts about the whole situation where certain fans want to act like, just put on your cheerleader uniform and just go, yeah, back you guys all the way till there has to be some form of criticism, right?
No doubt. And I think something that's really important to understand, especially when we're talking about sports, right? Everything changes. As we watch games, as the season unfolds, new evidence is given. And as new evidence is given, opinions change based on that evidence. Like, for me, the people who are just as much all in no matter what are just, for me, as I don't want to say bad because we're all fans at the end of the day, but just as incorrect as the ones who will be all out even if we win the treble. At some point, you have to adapt your opinions based on what we're seeing. So, like I said on your last show, at one point, I didn't just a few weeks ago after the Leipzig loss, I was completely against Ole being manager. I said literally only a title challenge, like getting these guys close to Liverpool and City, could actually win me back. And as we've seen, we're in that position now to contend, at least for the next few weeks, close to Liverpool and City. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let's give him some time. He deserves more of the fan support. But for the people who are upset at that video that Rance made, I can see their frustrations because I think his video was a little in poor taste. Like, again, we lost the semifinal. It's very disappointing, but we lost to a really good City team. And like you were saying, we are at the top of the table. If we win tomorrow against Burnley, we're top of the league. Yeah. So to be completely on the manager's back the way he is, I hear the fans' frustrations. But to say, you can't be Ole out, like, I think how extreme he was the problem. I don't think being Ole out or thinking that United could do much better with a different manager is a criminal thought to have. I think you're definitely entitled to it, and I think it's a very legitimate point.
Yeah, man. I think you've hit it on the spot that it's just the manner you deliver your message. I think the message itself probably doesn't have too much of a, implication and whatnot. I think it's just the way it's delivered. I think similarly in our fan base as well, a lot of people are really getting on the back of people that perhaps want Frank Lampard out, or they're overly criticizing Frank Lampard, and they're coming out and voicing that, what's going on? These guys are not real fans, da-di-da-di-da. But yeah, perhaps it's the language and the tone that it's used, which is a great message, Lyés, man. You're going to say.
Especially, sorry to cut you off. For you guys, especially Chelsea fans, I think Chelsea, it's a bit of a weird one, right? Because Chelsea has always been a team that when things don't go well, the manager pays the price and we see a new manager come in. I think that's something that Chelsea fans over the years have grown accustomed to, right? You don't get too attached to a manager just because the next one could be in or out the door within a day. With Lampard now, though, you finally have this guy that the fans have a real attachment to, right? Maybe Jose Mourinho when he came back, but Frank Lampard is the greatest Chelsea player in history. So that is, of course, going to be a huge part of the fan base. Like when Antonio Conte, when things were going really poorly for him, I'm sure there wasn't a huge debate whether fans wanted him in or out, right? I'm sure it was like when he was doing really badly, most fans were kind of like...
It was split. There was still quite a lot that supported him, even through that bad time when we were going through that really bad period where he was pretty much detached from the board. Yeah. There was quite a lot of fans that still backed him, though. But yeah, I get your point, though. I completely understand. Even in the Mourinho season, where the second time around, where we were doing so poorly, there was a lot of fans that were backing him. But these probably are the two managers that the fans had a blind love for, to be honest.
Yep.
But yeah, go on, man.
No, that's really all I have to say. When there is such loyalty to a former player, the opinions are going to be divided, and there's going to be fire. There's going to be sparks that fly when people insult your favorite manager. Like that's what's going to happen. For Arsenal, for example, like they don't have that huge loyalty to Arteta, right?
Yeah,
Like Arteta was never an Arsenal legend. You could argue he's more of an Everton hero than he is an Arsenal hero.
Yeah,
So
most
fans,
likely.
like,
Yeah.
when things go wrong for Arteta, I don't think you're going to have huge heated battles between two parts of the fan base. But with Solskjaer and with Lampard, these are two players that over the years fans have grown infatuated with just through their play.
Yeah.
So there's bound to always be controversy and heated debates between the two fan bases. But that's all I got to really
sure. No, for sure, man. Let's talk a little bit about FA Cup now, the recent round that's finished. Obviously, we had a stock standard victory, 4-0 against Morecambe. I mean, not too much you could read into besides the fact that some of the players got some fitness run, some of the players got some confidence boosters.
Yeah.
Just going to Man United, I think this was probably one of the other reasons why Rance was a bit upset because of the way you guys played against Watford, who's a championship team now. And apparently Watford had something ridiculous like 10 or 11 shots on target, or I can't remember, something even more, as opposed to Man United. And man, it ended up being a 1-0 victory. Your thoughts on that particular match?
The first half, honestly, I thought United were cruising. Watford like United scored very early on, within 10 minutes, I believe. And Watford didn't really look into the game. Like they were kind of passengers throughout it. And like at one point I was like, let me check the championship table. Are these guys struggling in the relegation battle? Is that why they haven't really gone for this game really? And no, they were 6th place in the league. They're in playoff position. Yeah. United put out a weaker team. This was really an opportunity for Ole to see which of the fringe players on United he can trust, which of them, if you're clearly not up for this level, you got to go. So you saw the likes of Van de Beek, saw the likes of Dan James, McTominay. Maybe McTominay is more a first-team player, but Greenwood was given a chance up front. You just saw the second team of Manchester United. And a lot of people have been saying United has really good depth this year. Like, oh, we don't have to rely on Lingard or Pereira as number 10 depth now that we have Van de Beek. We have this here. But I think this was really a wake-up call that if Bruno Fernandes is to go out injured this year, for example, or if Rashford goes down injured, United might be in huge trouble, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought there were a lot of players in this game that did not take their opportunity well. For example, Brennan Williams. I took a lot of heat on Twitter for saying this. For me, he was worse than garbage. I actually put out a tweet. I said, Brennan Williams, when you look at Manchester United players post Sir Alex Ferguson, the worst of the worst, for me, he's in that conversation. A lot of top.
You know what? He came out. I remember Brendan Williams against Chelsea last season. Yeah. I think it might have been at Stamford Bridge. I can't totally remember. Or maybe it was in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, when you guys knocked us out last season. I thought he was decent. I really thought this guy was going to be one of the big left backs, up and coming left backs coming up. But yeah, it's funny to hear from you now that he's not as good as some maybe think. Yeah.
I mean, people are always going to back their academy players, right? Like we're all going to say Greenwood is the best young striker on the planet, and people last year were saying Brandon Williams was better than Bukayo Saka. And if you want evidence that those fans are smoking crack, you just have to watch the last few games for both players. But he didn't take his opportunity. I thought the one player I thought really showed that, look, I have a part to play in this United season was Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek was given a role on Saturday. He played as a deeper midfielder. So instead of playing in that number 10 position he normally occupies for Holland, Ajax, United earlier, he played in one of the two double pivot positions next to Scott McTominay. And I was really impressed. I thought that this position, with the way United plays and the way he plays, I think this is really the position that can get the best out of Donny van de Beek. So Van de Beek is not number 10 that is a high risk taker. He takes a lot of shots. He's the antithesis of Bruno Fernandes. He gets on the ball and he wants to play the right pass. He wants to play quick. He wants to play 1-2 football and get on and off the ball and get into good positions. He's completely different to Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. But with the way United plays, so much of the attack is based on what the individual four attackers can give you individually, that a player who doesn't like to get on the ball for longer than 3 seconds really doesn't have much of a part to play for that team. But in the position that Donny van de Beek took against Watford, a deeper midfielder where he got more on the ball, he kept possession flowing, I thought he did really well. He completed the most passes out of anyone on the pitch. He completed the most tackles. I thought if anyone really took their chance, I thought he showed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that, look, Fred and McTominay might offer you more defensively, but if you really want to be a team that keeps possession, I'm that guy. The one worry I have for him is that defensively in that pivot, I don't know if he has it, but I think he really did a good job of taking his chance well, and I think we'll be seeing much more of him in the next few games.
Yeah, man, he's a class player, man. There's no doubt about that. And probably time he'll probably find a place in the Man United team. Obviously, as you said in the last episode with me, that Bruno Fernandes at the moment sort of occupies that position where he probably needs to play Danny van der Beek. But time may come that maybe they could both coexist, and that could be a scary thought for the opposition. As you said, perhaps play a lot more possession-based as opposed to really just relying on counter-attacking football. And that's where Donny van der Beek might come into play. Just lastly, I want to wrap this whole FA Cup thing up by asking Scott McTominay, man, your thoughts. There's a lot of talk about Scott McTominay in your fan base, and some seem to rate him, some don't. What's going on?
Scott McTominay, like you said, he's a very interesting topic for United fans. He kind of falls in between. Do fans love him? Do fans even rate him? Do fans want to see the back of him? He has kind of become the poster boy of Solskjaer's revolution at United. So when Ole came in, he wanted to get the bad eggs out of United, the likes of Ashley Young, Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, if you want to call them bad eggs, the guys that kind of were more accustomed to that Mourinho setup. He wanted to get those guys out, and McTominay was kind of the figurehead of the new Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Manchester United. Bright, understands the qualities of the club, understands the culture. He gets what it means to be a Manchester United player. I mean, he's been in the academy for years. This was a guy Sir Alex was a huge fan of, even watching him in the academy. Like, he sums up what it is to be a academy player for Manchester United. However, the thing that gets on fans' nerves is not what he stands for, but his playing ability. Scott McTominay is a very limited player. He isn't a great passer of the ball. In fact, he's one of our weaker passers in a position that we really need ball retention in. He's not a good passer whatsoever. He's often used in that double pivot role as an energy guy, as like a guy next to a Fred who can kind of break up play, go box to box. But the truth for me is that I think he's kind of fooled fans recently into thinking that he is this all-action midfielder, that he is this Declan Rice of sorts. Because I think oftentimes you see Scott McTominay kind of out of it, like out of play, out of position, too high up the field, jogging back, which is something that fans get on Pogba a lot for. But I feel like he kind of fools fans into thinking that he is that guy because he shouts a lot, because he puts a good tackle in. Like, for example,
that's the comment that a lot are saying in your fan base, and I've seen a lot as well, that he fools fans into thinking he's doing stuff when in essence he's not really doing much. And yeah, there's a lot of players out there that have this quality that can make you feel like they're doing a lot, but there's no production. But then again, he's been in the goals lately. For Man United.
Well, so he does have his qualities. Like, for me, you can't deny that as a squad player, he's a player that I think a lot of Premier League teams could do with just in their 23-man squad. So he has an eye for goal. We've seen that recently. He scored the goal for United this weekend, which I think is what got him man of the match, to be honest, because I didn't think he played great at all. Leeds, he had 2 good goals. And I think really those are the kinds of games where he excels in. Games like Leeds, where the game is open, it's backed box to box, like he can kind of put his mark on it. It's chaotic and it matches his style of play. Same with Fred. Fred is the same way. But I think something is important to note, that there's a difference between working hard and working smart. And I think Scott McTominay is a hard worker, but he often doesn't work intelligently. I think times where you want to conserve your energy. For example, when he wins the ball back, great, fantastic. Instead of just playing a short pass to a Bruno or a Pogba, who are much more technically efficient players on the ball, he'll try and play the killer pass himself. And that's just completely out of it. He just should never be in that position. He should be the guy who wins the ball back and gets it to his better players. And yeah, I definitely don't think as a long-term player, I don't think United will ever really be able to challenge for major awards with him as a starter, which he is right now. Like I told you the other day, I think United needs a really strong defensive midfielder in there, and that's to replace McTominay. But that's really my thoughts on him. I like him as a bloke, like great guy. I love his interviews. Like he loves the club, but I love the club too, and I shouldn't be starting central midfield for Manchester United.
Les, I really think you should be starting centre midfield.
I got a better touch on me than Scott McTominay. I'll back myself. All
right, bro. Let's look at some of the other FA Cup results before we get into the draw. Wolves had a victory against Palace, 1-0. Liverpool, Aston Villa. This was, I mean, I know I shouldn't be able to say much because Chelsea fielded a very, very strong team as well against Morecambe. But Liverpool, with Salah, Mane, Firmino, I believe, up front against some 16, 17-year-olds or 18-year-olds of Aston Villa, who actually did very well up until the 63rd minute. They even equalised to bring the match to 1-1. Kudos to Aston Villa, yeah?
Yeah. First of all, kudos to Aston Villa just in general this season. I think they're definitely the shock of the season. I really love the way they play. I think they're a great balanced team. But onto this game. Wow. Aston Villa, I think they played those 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds because of the coronavirus, right? The other players are ill. They also probably want to rest because they are in contention for Europa League football this year. So I think that's really something to aim for them. Liverpool played their strongest team, and the first half it finished 1-1. Mo Salah couldn't get past the kid who I'm sure cheats on his GCSEs, but I think quality eventually told, right? Thiago came on in the second half for Jordan Henderson.
Yeah. I mean, that was always going to be. Who's that one Aston Villa player that everyone's talking about? Louis something or
was it the goal scorer?
Yeah, the goal scorer. Everyone's talking about this kid.
Like that. The thing about him is he was actually part of Barcelona's academy at one point. He was a former West Brom player, and he went to La Masia in Spain, and he was playing there. And the only reason he came back to England was because he was homesick. Aston Villa took a chance on him, and that's the magic of the FA Cup, right? Young players getting the chance.
Yeah, you can unearth some good talent. So, it looks like Aston Villa. Yeah, it's a fantastic story, man. It looks like Aston Villa has found themselves, someone for the future. Some more scores here. Leicester 4-0, straightforward, I suppose, against Stoke. They always complain, on a rainy day, come and play Stoke on a rainy evening. Leicester smashed them 4-0. Sheffield United, wow, surprise victory for them, 3-2 against Bristol.
Funny, actually. It was Chris Wilder's 100th win for Sheffield United, and they tweeted about it at the end, and someone replied in the mention saying, "How long have you had this in your drafts?"
That's too fun. I'll tell you what, social media, honestly, it's ruthless. It is ruthless.
Absolutely.
West Brom is out. Blackpool's in. Arsenal, actually, I saw this match. Arsenal played all right, actually, against Newcastle. Man, I need to quickly talk about this, Arsenal. Man, I enjoyed it when they were... Yeah, I know, man. I know. We clicked them into it. I was enjoying it so much when they were 17th or 15th in the table and they were in absolute rut. Yeah. Since our victory, they're exponential growth. This is something to look out for, don't you think, Arsenal at the moment?
Arsenal's a weird one. So outside of obviously the joke, Chelsea kickstarting their season, what's really kickstarted their season is the youth, right? Emil Smith-Rowe coming into the team. Yeah. Reece Nelson has gotten more chances. Saka, a tremendous player. Bukayo Saka, I'm a big fan. But the guys that were kind of letting Arteta down are actually the ones he put the most faith in. Willian, a player I'm sure you're fully familiar with. Arteta chased all summer. He was his biggest priority after Thomas Partey. Yeah. And he's been woke, which for me, I was never a Willian fan, but he's been horrible. Nico Pepe, a guy they put 72 million pounds of faith into. I think Nico Pepe, we can go a little bit into him, Nicola Pepe.
Have you seen a big flop in Pepe? I feel like this is one of the biggest flop in Premier League I've seen in recent times.
For me, outside of Kepa, I think he's the biggest flop in Premier League this year.
Yeah.
For me, Pepe, his issue is that he only started playing professional football at this level for the last 3 years. So he doesn't really have a great footballing education. When you look at a Christian Pulisic, for example, this is a guy that at 18, 19 years old was in Borussia Dortmund's youth academy. He was playing at a team that fully integrates, their biggest priority is to get young players into the team and really give them the best footballing education possible. Nicola Pepe, it's a known fact that he used to be a goalkeeper until 20 years old. So he hasn't fun fact, he used to be a goalkeeper. So he hasn't had the best footballing education. And in fact, when you watch him play, I think the biggest criticism that people have of Pepe is he's very raw, right? His game is very undefined. In fact, I remember last year they were 3-0 down at home to Manchester City, and this guy was doing back heels in his own half, right? He's just a very immature player.
Very immature, and the way he sometimes dribbles and I feel like he doesn't know when to take on a player and when not to take on a player. And sometimes he just dribbles and then dribbles out of the field. Like he doesn't seem to have the sense of where he's running and how wide the pitch is or how long it is. But yeah, man, I mean, Arsenal, as you said, I think with all the youth players that they've brought in, Smith Rowe, I think he's a special player, man. He plays through. He puts some really, really good passes through the middle. The thing I like about Smith Rowe is that he's not scared to play those really risky passes through the middle, which, you know, a lot of the teams, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure Man United fans and us fans in Chelsea, we want more play through the middle, those decisive passes through the middle, as opposed to going sideways and just, you know, dilly-dallying around. And Smith Rowe does that. And Bukayo Saka is a player that actually loves taking players on. But then this is what I like about Saka, the fact that he takes players on, but then he looks up to see an opportunity to pass a lot of players. And this is a little bit of a criticism for Pulisic. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate. I love Pulisic, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't get on the back of me. I love Pulisic. He's done a lot of great stuff for us. My only criticism of Pulisic would be is that when he dribbles, head up. Head up, look for opportunities to pass. There's no point if you go through 4 players and then it's a goal kick or it's a throw-in. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I think that's really one of the biggest criticisms. I think that's really what separates the top players from not bad players, but like the next level below. There's a lot of players in world football. For example, the best one I can think of is Sofiane Boufal. Sofiane Boufal is one of the best 1v1 players in world football. He can beat a man like with his eyes closed, right? But what separates the best players from the level below is once you get into that final third, you beat your man. Can you pick your head up, slow things down, and have the awareness to find a guy in the box, right? That's that awareness. That's why I like Emile Smith Rowe a lot, for example. Smith Rowe kind of plays at his own pace. He doesn't rush anything. His head is always up. He's a very intelligent, calm, composed, and confident player. And I think that isn't something that comes with like footballing ability. That's just something you have or you don't. So for me, that separates the top players from the bottom players. It's that decision making, that final action. Can you compose yourself and get a contribution?
Nah, so true, man. That characteristic that you just mentioned, I've seen a lot of players, you know, from a young age may not have it to the fullest, and people think, oh no, but they'll develop into that player. You know, they'll develop that quality. I've seen many not develop that. As you said, it's either you have it, you've got that composure. Composure is the biggest factor, right? Yeah. When you dribble, having that ability to stop and just go, okay, let me scan what's going on. But at the same time, you're still moving. It's not like you've just completely come to a stop and looking around with your goggles out, going, "Oh, who can I pass now?" Exactly. But it's that's why obviously the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. And I know I'm not comparing them with this group, but this is why they are creme de la creme, and the rest are what they are.
For a lot of players, that is the thing that's stopping them. Because, like I said, Sofiane Boufal, for example, is for me a prime candidate. Like he can take out a player better than most in the league, but he came to Southampton, he couldn't get it done just because once you beat your fullback, you don't get a goal for beating your fullback. You don't get an assist for beating your fullback. You get a goal for putting a ball into the box.
Exactly.
So that's really what separates. It's a big thing in separating good players from great players.
Absolutely right, man. Let's quickly have a look at the upcoming draw that happened earlier today, the FA Cup draw. Look, honestly, the biggest one for me here is none other than Man United versus Liverpool. That's the one that sticks out massively. Let's have a quick look. Man City, I think that's a straightforward one for them. We've got over here, Chelsea is facing Luton Town. I think I've pronounced it right, Luton. But yeah, man, I really can't see any other big draw here besides this. The 5th round draw is out as well. Some still need to play. But yeah, man, I think the talk of the town is the Man United Liverpool game, Lyés. How do you feel about this?
Ah, man. I want you to read some of those names out, right? Cheltenham Town, Crawley Town, Chorley. Who else
Cheltenham Town. Is this Crawley or Chorley?
That's Chorley. I have a few friends in Chorley, so shout out you guys. But just read some of those names. We're in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and we're playing the reigning Premier League champions.
It's insane.
anyone that
insane.
says Manchester United gets luck or the FA is out to boost them, oh man. The craziest thing is we play Liverpool in the FA Cup a week after playing them in the Premier League. So
That's that. Oh man, that honestly, that's yeah. As you said, look at some of these names here and who they're playing, and then what's the odds of getting Man United Liverpool in the fourth round? Like that's insane. But surely, my man, this is a competition that you guys are going to be. I'm pretty sure you guys will be going for it, and looks like a lot of the teams are going for it. You know, Chelsea's fielded a very, very strong team. Liverpool fielded a very strong team. Now, a lot of people can say that perhaps the strong team was because Liverpool lost against Southampton. They just wanted to get some confidence back. Similarly for us, we were a bit of down in our confidence. We fielded a strong team. But I also think some of the big teams are really going for this silverware this season.
Yeah, definitely. For example, Chelsea, you guys haven't won a trophy under Lampard, right?
No.
I don't think so. So you guys aren't going to win the league this year. United are in it right now, but I don't think we'll end up winning the league. Arsenal as well. Arsenal practically owns this competition in the last few years. Spurs are desperate for trophy, and they actually might win the Carabao Cup themselves, but they're definitely going to be putting on a strong team for this competition. So, yeah, I think with this many teams with new managers, like that first trophy is really influential. Like you saw with Jose Mourinho over the years, like the Capital Cup, the Carabao Cup is often that first trophy that he does win to kind of catapult his team's success.
For us, it was huge.
Yeah, for United as well. In Mourinho's first year, that was the first one. Spurs, no doubt, will be after this trophy, right? Like Jose Mourinho doesn't discriminate. At the FA Cup, Capital One Cup, Europa League, they all matter the same thing.
Trophy's a trophy for him.
Yeah. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just like that. Like he is starving for his first piece of silverware as Manchester United boss. As a former legend of United, he knows how much winning trophies is in the culture, in the fabric of this football club. So he's going to be after it. He knows his job also depends on it, right? Like if he comes top 3 but doesn't win a trophy, how does the board look at that? Would they rather maybe 4th in the trophy? Is that a better season for him? So yeah, United's definitely going to be going after it. I think they actually will advance because Liverpool doesn't tend to put out top teams in these competitions. I'm sure they won't be putting their second team out against United, but just in general, I think Jurgen Klopp will be prioritizing the league. He will be prioritizing the Champions League, which is coming up as well for him. So, yeah, we have a really interesting game. It also depends what happens in the league the week before. Like I said, they play Liverpool in the Cup a week after. So what will go on in that first fixture?
Nah, man, it's going to be interesting, Tom. As you said, I completely forgot about the UCL situation because, Champions League will be around that time, Premier League fixtures, FA Cup, and so on and so forth. And, you guys playing Liverpool just a week before this match, that'll be interesting as well, how hard you go. I'm pretty sure they'll go hard in the league. But then, how much energy will that team have to go hard again for this one? And possibly this could be a second-tier team for both the teams. So that could still be fantastic. You got the Man United B team versus Liverpool B team going head-to-head, and that could be interesting as well. But yeah, man, FA Cup 4th round, 5th round draw. Seems like it's been pretty nice for all other top clubs except for Man United and Liverpool. Liverpool probably, with the form and the sort of, I suppose, the oozing confidence that they have. They probably feel confident against anyone. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, big match for Man United. My man, let's talk a little bit about the Premier League fixtures, upcoming fixtures before we wrap things up. I had no idea you guys were playing tomorrow. Let me bring this up. Because, our next match is against Fulham, which is on the Saturday. But, a whole heap of teams missed out on some matches. You guys were missed out on that first Premier League match. Obviously, you get that game in hand. Spurs have missed out on a couple of matches as well. But tomorrow's fixtures, just quickly, we will get to the Man United one and the Chelsea one. Sheffield United, Newcastle, man. Sheffield United, surely, you cannot keep losing, Sheffield. I mean, get a win.
I think this is really the game that if Sheffield United is going to win, it has to be this game. Like Newcastle, they're an on-off team. Like I feel like one game, they always turn up against you guys. Chelsea at what's it called? St. James's Park is like the game of their life for them every single season.
They play for it. This is what they live for.
They tend to always have a good game against one big team, whether it's Liverpool, United. I think they've already got that out of the way with Liverpool.
Yeah.
But away from home, in games where Newcastle are expected to win and try and play a more expansive brand is often when Steve Bruce fails. So this could be a game. If Sheffield United is going to win a game this season and it doesn't happen this weekend, Derby County, watch out, because I think your record of 11 points in the league is under threat.
Time to wager some money on it.
Hey, I don't know. I'm not putting my money on Sheffield United. That's for sure.
Yeah, hey, we're not advocating for gambling, so don't take this as a gambling.
Not on David McGoldrick. If you're gonna bet your money, don't put it on David McGoldrick.
Wolves, Everton. I think this will be a good game, man. Wolves are a fantastic team with Podence and Pedro Neto. Everton, they were going good. I think they had a loss last week. Everton's a funny team, man. I feel like they don't always, in recent times, they haven't been playing good football, but they've been squeezing out victories. Now they've had the loss. I think they're definitely in the, under Ancelotti, they're definitely in that transition mode where they're trying to figure things out. Your thoughts quickly on the Wolves-Everton game, man?
Everton, like you said, they're kind of just doing an Everton, right? They always do this. They have their outs, they have their downs. They usually finish 8th. I like Wolves, but Wolves are actually they're struggling this year. They're 11th?
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing as well as you think.
I think not having Jimenez has really hurt them.
Naturally. Yeah, Jimenez is a huge part of that team with his aerial ability. I think it also hurt a guy like Adama Traore when he doesn't have that target in the box that he have. Jimenez is huge for them. One of the best strikers in the league. You said it's in Everton?
Everton. No, it's at Wolves' home ground.
I'd say Wolves will win then. I'm a big fan, by the way, of Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto and, of course, Podence, for me, are terrific players.
Bro, I don't know about you. When I see Podence, I get Hazard vibes. Like the way, and I'm not comparing a Hazard's miles ahead, obviously. I'm just saying stylistically, the way Podence moves, it's so Hazard-esque, man. Like, do you get that feeling as well?
Absolutely. And for me, Podence is like a player that if he was, he's 25. So I think that's realistically why most teams will have a look more on Pedro Neto, who I think he has all the attributes for Manchester United. If they don't go after Jadon Sancho, I think Pedro Neto would be a fantastic option off the right for them. But Podence is terrific, man. For me, if he wasn't 25 years old, this is one of the best dribblers in the Premier League. Like, he's a top player.
Absolutely, man. Pedro Neto is becoming fast a big stock for a lot of people, a lot of clubs out there. As you said, if you guys don't get Sancho, you want Pedro as well. Pedro Neto. But yeah, same with us as well. We are badly looking for another winger. We've got issues in our wing in terms of sometimes with form and injuries and whatnot. And we were sort of thinking getting another winger. And this winger for me would be amazing. But yeah, Podence as well. I think you're right. But maybe the age is a bit of a factor. Yeah. But Neto, man, I wonder how long he's going to stay in Wolves, because I don't think he'll be for too long.
To give Podence some credit, though, Podence is roughly around the same age that Riyad Mahrez was when he left Leicester. Riyad Mahrez was also a very late bloomer, relatively. Mm-hmm. So Podence, I mean, he hasn't had the same impact that Riyad Mahrez had at Leicester in particular. But I think if he really ups his goal production, if he really makes himself the figurehead of that Wolves team, like, he could definitely get a big move. He's a quality player.
No, absolutely, man. Just a quick comment here from Anirudh City again with an easy draw. FFS, obviously I can't say that out. But yeah, Cheltenham Town, Anirudh, that's who they got. I'm pretty sure Cheltenham Town are going to pose a massive threat for Man City. Not. But yeah, that's exactly who they've drew. My man, we are playing Fulham up next. Obviously, we beat Morecambe, and the fan base is happy. Obviously, we've won, but they're also at the same time in check, because we were always meant to be beating Morecambe. Let's face it. We should always be beating Morecambe. So we're not getting too ahead of ourselves. My personal take is that I think Frank Lampard is still in serious pressure and serious trouble if he drops points against Fulham, because we haven't been great in recent times. So a win is a must. And I don't know if if you know this, Lyés. Straight after the City game, the Athletic had an article, like literally as the whistle went, they pressed the enter button, and the article was published. And the article was talking about how Chelsea's apparently looking for, they're in the lookout for a new manager, because we got absolutely whooped by Man City. I just feel, man, if Fulham gets something out of this, Frank's in trouble. Your thoughts, man? Do you think this might be the game where if we draw that he could seriously be in trouble?
I did read the article. I did read it. I find it interesting, right? Because I think the main target that people are speculating with Chelsea, outside of Max Allegri, who his situation is a bit weird because he must have incredible patience to go this long without a job.
Yeah.
It's bizarre for me because I rate Max Allegri quite highly from his time at Milan, from his time at Juventus. I think he's one of Europe's premier pragmatists. Like, I think he's a top manager.
Yeah.
But Thomas Tuchel, I think there is a bit of question marks around him because he isn't the easiest customer to deal with in terms of boards, in terms of owners, in terms of even fans, right? And Chelsea, I think, have learned their mistakes from Antonio Conte, right? Jose Mourinho, having these hard to deal with managers. Like,
even Sarri, to a point.
Yeah, Sarri wasn't great either. Like, he wants his targets.
Yeah.
And while I do rate Thomas Tuchel a lot as a manager, I think Abramovich and the board at Chelsea probably do have their question marks around him, especially bringing him in at this period of the season. Like, he's probably going to want his own transfers. This isn't a great time to bring in a manager.
Yeah.
I think Lampard probably has he probably has a few more results in him, a few more games to kind of earn back the fans' undying loyalty, kind of get everyone back on his side.
Yeah.
Fulham, if we look at them, they're a team that's really improved this year. They started off this season, I think most people probably had them as favorites to go down alongside. They probably because the last go around in the Premier League, they weren't great. They were relegated fairly early. And this is mostly the same group of players that kind of went down. The same ones came right back up. And Scott Parker, great player on his day, by the way, one of my favorites when he was playing for Spurs and West Ham. But he really has invigorated a tough attitude in Fulham. They play very positively, which is something that I didn't think was great the first go around. Like, these guys really go for every game. They play very bright. If anything, they're a bit too naive in games. But they have speed in certain areas. Like, they could hurt you. They have one midfielder as well, Anguissa, who I think is a really
Anguissa is really good, and Lookman, he's very good as well.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. Go on.
No, for me, Fulham are a good team. Is it at Craven Cottage or is that?
It is at Craven Cottage. Yeah.
London Derby. I mean,
it's a big stage. It's a big stage, man. And as you said, Scott Parker, he's been playing some good football in recent times. Fulham's had some decent run, some draws, a couple of wins here and there. Even their left back Ole Gunnar, who's our player from ages ago, and he's playing some good football too. They as you said, they're not scared. They don't play scared football. Sometimes a bit naive defensively. I think sometimes a bit naive, but at home, if they somehow can put up a show. The only issue I have here, Lyés, is I think Spurs with their change. The reason why our game is now on the Saturday, because it was meant to be on the Friday, now it's on Saturday. It's to accommodate the fact that Spurs can't play Aston Villa, and apparently they may play Fulham instead. So it sucks. Like, I can't believe how they just Fulham obviously didn't want to agree to that because that's not fair on them. That all of a sudden they now have to play Spurs, and then a few days later they have to play Chelsea. So that's a massive booster for us. Having a team that really now needs to probably rotate over a very short space of time.
No doubt. I would expect Chelsea to win this game, right? I mean, coming off a good result against Morecambe. Like you said, the most important thing that probably came out of that game was the likes of Havertz and Werner getting back on the goals, because that kind of gets their confidence back going. I think that the mood around the fan base is probably a little better, even though it was just Morecambe. I think the overall mood from a few days ago is a little better. And I think it will be enough. Quality pays, right? Quality will tell. I think you guys will end up beating Fulham. Yeah,
man, I have full confidence that we should win as well. Hakim Ziyech. Absolutely, man. For me, Hakim Ziyech is the X factor, man. I think him being back and him being fit, his distribution is going to be key. Let's talk about Man United versus Burnley to wrap things up. I think it's Burnley's home ground. Burnley ain't an easy customer to face. They're very difficult. And we know one of the things about Man United is probably they're not the greatest team when it comes to intricate passing and really slicing teams open. They do love the counter-attacking football a lot, which I don't think you're going to get that against Burnley, the counter-attacking football. So you really have to make your ball here. How are you feeling about this match, man? I still think you guys are going to win.
First of all, I want to say that this is the biggest week in Manchester United recent history since, 2012, 2013? Because like I said, after this Burnley game, if we win, we go top of the table outright. And this is the latest in the season Manchester United would have been top outright since 2012, 2013, which is the season we last won the Premier League. So with this game now that we have in hand and the Liverpool game on the weekend, this makes this week just massively important for Man United. To your point that, Burnley aren't going to give us a lot of counterattacking opportunities. Like, this is going to be a game where we really have to hold on to the ball well. You're absolutely spot on, and it makes it a little more difficult because Solskjaer has come out in the last few days saying Paul Pogba will not be available for the game because he's injured. I think Pogba is in some of his best form in like his short Manchester United career. He's playing really well at the moment, and he's expected to miss the game, as is Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof. I think those are a little less important. But Paul Pogba is really in his own element right now. I would like to see Donny van de Beek given another chance off the basis of how well he played against Watford, off the basis of you just said United's going to have to keep possession well. And bread and butter is ball retention. That's his. That's what Van de Beek excels.
This could be a good game for him. This really could be a good game for him.
It is going to be a tough game, right? Because Burnley is hard. Like you were talking about, Stoke is a wet night and Stoke is a tough place to go. Burnley is the new age Stoke. Like no one wants to play at Turf Moor on a Tuesday night. No one wants to do that.
No one.
So it's going to be a tough game. I think United has a very good record at Turf Moor. In fact, they don't usually beat Burnley at Old Trafford. The last 3 games, they have failed to beat Burnley at Old Trafford. But we tend to have good luck at Turf Moor. Anthony Martial usually scores there, so it would be great if he can get back on the score sheet because he's really struggling at the moment. But huge game, man. I think just to go into Anfield with already having that 3-point advantage would be huge. That game is going to be massive. Not to get into that too much, but Liverpool has this amazing Anfield record, and United. All the pressure is going to be on Liverpool, given their recent form and given, again, it is Anfield and they are the Premier League champions. They have to defend their crown. All the pressure is going to be on them. But let's just say United beats Burnley and then they go to Anfield and they get a result there and they're 4 or 6 points.
Just calm down. Calm your horses. I mean, it seems like you want to run away with the league title. You're not winning nothing, Liz. I'm telling you right now, you are not winning anything.
One game at a time.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I completely understand from your point of view. You guys will be so excited to be on the top of the table, and one game at a time, as you said, you beat Burnley, and the pressure's on Liverpool. Then you go to Liverpool, then they really need to they need to come out and beat you guys, right? So that kind of falls into your territory.
Yeah, even a draw is not good enough for Liverpool on Sunday. They have to win at Anfield and put the pressure back on everyone else, because right now all the eyes of the media, all the eyes of social media, everyone is looking at Liverpool. Are you guys the real deal? Come show us.
Absolutely. And once again, don't forget Manchester City as well, just around the corner. I think they're just sneaking whilst everyone's fighting against each other. But man, once again, fantastic conversation with you, Lyés, man. I'm pretty sure once the Premier League is back this weekend, next week on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure there's a match on Tuesday. Straight after that, we're going to have a whole heap of conversation to talk about. It's going to be a whole lot of chaos again. And as the season continues, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking and bantering as we go along. I just hope that somehow Chelsea manages to come back to where you guys are in the table and perhaps change over. Maybe Man United go down the table, we go up the table. That'd be great as well. But my man, thank you heaps for joining. Any last few messages before we go?
Yeah, no doubt. Guys, I have my own channel, Whole Lot of Mid. We actually just hit 1,000 subscribers recently, so we're trying to grow from there. I actually just posted a video today titled Pretenders or Contenders, where me and my friend kind of went through each of the Premier League's big teams this year and analyzed and really gave our insight on whether they can win the league or not. So make sure you go check that out. Give us a like, give us a subscription. If you like the content we were talking about today, I'm sure you'll love what I have to provide on the show. But thanks for having me again, Miz. I can't wait for next week and make this a regular thing.
Brilliant, man. All the things that Lyés has just mentioned, it's in the description. I'll even have the link to his latest video. So go check that out. We're trying to create a bit of a Man United Chelsea sort of feel in this particular segment, which is called Whole Lot of Chaos. But we will cover other Premier League games as well, just to keep it very much Premier League based and not just always Chelsea, Man United. But yeah, guys, thank you for everyone tuning in, and thank you for everyone that's going to watch later on. Please comment below, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe to Lyés' channel as well. Links in the description. And until next time, guys, see ya.